Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2020 Bowertology Selection Show. Today we will learn which 68 teams will participate in our virtual March Madness bracket for a shot at winning the NCAA Tournament Championship. As we mentioned, the bracket will be comprised of 68 spots for 68 teams. 32 spots will be for automatic bids, reserved for conference tournament champions, or for those conferences that did not finish their tournaments, the regular season champions. The remaining 36 spots will be at-large bids, selected on a resume basis. Now let's get into it. First, we start off in the Midwest region with the number 1 overall seed. The Kansas Jayhawks, no surprise there, finished the regular season 28-3, led by head coach Bill Self and Naismith Award finalists Devon Dotson and Udoka Azubuike. This is the Jayhawks' 4th number 1 seed in the past 5 years, and they enter the tournament on a 16-game winning streak. Their first game will take place on Friday in Omaha, Nebraska, and they will play the winner of the first 4 game between Siena and Prairie View A&M. Siena Saints enter as the regular season champions of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, Prairie View A&M the regular season champions of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. This playing game will take place in Dayton, Ohio on Wednesday evening. Keeping in this region, in the Friday Omaha game, we have the 8th seed, the St. Mary's Gales, finished the season 26-8. They're our first team out of the West Coast Conference. They lost to Gonzaga in the conference tournament title game. In the first round, they will face off against the 9 seed, the Florida Gators, our first team out of the SEC, led by head coach Mike White. They finished 5th in the SEC and get a 9 seed in the NCAA tournament. Now we head to Sacramento, California for Friday's game. The Auburn Tigers are the number 5 seed in the Midwest region. Finished the year 25-6. They reached the Final Four last season before losing to eventual champion Virginia. This is head coach Bruce Pearl's 3rd straight year in the dance with the Auburn Tigers. In the first round, they will play the winner of the play-in game between Xavier and Texas, another first 4 game that will take place in Dayton, Ohio on Wednesday evening. Xavier narrowly enters the field after finishing the season on a 3-game losing streak, and Texas sneaks in as the final at-large team. The winner of that game will go to Sacramento, California to play Auburn on Friday. Another Sacramento, California game on Friday, we have the number 4 seed, the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin won a share of the regular season Big Ten title, and they earned the automatic bid as the Big Ten tournament's number 1 seed. In the first round, they will play the 13 seed, the Belmont Bruins. Belmont back in the tournament as the Ohio Valley auto bid for the first time since 2015. The Bruins defeated Murray State in the conference title game, though they did appear in last year's tournament as an at-large bid. Keeping in the Midwest region, we move down to the 6-11 game. This will take place on Thursday in Albany, New York. It's the Michigan Wolverines, led by first-year head coach Juwan Howard. They are the 2nd team out of the Big Ten, and they made history this year with the largest jump in AP poll history, moving from unranked to number 4. And now they settle in as a number 6 seed in the tournament. In the first round, they will face the 11 seed, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Finished the year 20-10. They won a share of the American Athletic Conference regular season title, and now they enter the NCAA tournament as the conference auto bid after having been the 1 seed in the conference tournament. Keeping in Albany on Thursday, we'll see the 3 seed, the Seton Hall Pirates, 21-9 to finish the year, led by senior sensation Miles Powell and head coach Kevin Willard. This is their highest seed since 1993 and their 5th straight appearance in the NCAA tournament. In the first round, they'll face off against the 14 seed, the Bradley Braves. Bradley won the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, beat Valparaiso in the championship game. This is the first back-to-back Missouri Valley tournament champion since Northern Iowa did it in 2015 and 2016. And now we move into the Tampa games on Thursday. We have the 7 seed, the Houston Cougars, 2nd team out of the American Athletic Conference, led by head coach Kelvin Sampson. They made it to the Sweet 16 last year. They'll be looking to get back again this year, but first they'll have to deal with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, our 10 seed, 3rd team out of the Big Ten. It's been a long wait for the Scarlet Knights. 1991 was the last time that this team made an appearance in the Big Dance, back when they were in the Atlantic 10, and they will face Houston in the first round. Our other Tampa game on Thursday, the Florida State Seminoles are the 2 seed in the Midwest region. Led by ACC Coach of the Year Leonard Hamilton, they won the ACC regular season outright, their first regular season championship since 1989. They are awarded the ACC's automatic bid as the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. In the first round, they will play the 15 seed, the Little Rock Trojans. Finished the year 21-10, winners of the Sun Belt regular season. It's their first appearance in the NCAA tournament since 2016. Now we move on to the West region. This regional final will take place in Los Angeles, but the first round games we begin in Spokane, Washington, with Thursday's game between the number 1 seed in this region, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Finished the year 31-2, second team out of the West Coast Conference. They won both the regular season and the conference tournament for their 22nd straight appearance in the NCAA tournament. In the first round, they will play another First Four winner. This time it's Robert Morris and NC Central. Robert Morris won the Northeast Conference tournament over St. Francis University, and NC Central was awarded the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference auto bid. It is their 4th straight appearance in the Big Dance. The winner of that game will take on Gonzaga in Spokane on Thursday. First Four game will take place on Tuesday night in Dayton, Ohio. Keeping in Spokane, we have the 8 seed, the Colorado Buffaloes, led by head coach Tad Boyle. Colorado finished 6th in the Pac-12, and it's their first appearance in the NCAA tournament since 2016. In the first round, they will play the 9 seed, the Oklahoma Sooners, 19-12, out of the Big 12, our second team out of the Big 12. Oklahoma, led by head coach Lon Kruger. This is his 18th appearance in the NCAA tournament. He led Oklahoma to the Final Four in 2016. Staying in Spokane for the 5-12 matchup, it's the BYU Cougars, our third and final team out of the WCC. They beat Gonzaga in the regular season, but lost to St. Mary's in the conference tournament. Still good enough to earn a top 5 seed. And who will they play in the first round? It will be the Liberty Flames, the 12 seed. Liberty, back-to-back regular season and conference tournament champions. For Richie McKay's squad from Lynchburg, Virginia, they will take on the BYU Cougars in the first round game in the West region. We also have the 4 seed, the Oregon Ducks, winners of the Pac-12 regular season, winners of the conference tournament auto bid, the Pac-12 tournament, of course, being canceled early. But Oregon earns a number 4 seed, and in the first round they will face New Mexico State, winners of the WAC. The Aggies have been looking to pull off a tournament upset for quite some time, have not gotten there yet. Were very close to upsetting Auburn last year. They'll have their chance against Peyton Pritchard and the Oregon Ducks in the first round on Thursday. Sticking in the West region, we now have the 6 seed, the Iowa Hawkeyes, led by Naismith Award contender Luka Garza. The Hawkeyes come in as a number 6 seed and our 4th team out of the Big Ten. And they will play the 11 seed. It's another play-in game, Wichita State versus Richmond. This first 4 game will take place on Tuesday night. Wichita State, the 3rd and final team out of the American Athletic Conference, and Richmond, our first team out of the A-10. We'll see another one later. That's probably it for the Big Ten. And the winner of that game will take on Iowa on Thursday in St. Louis. And we have Creighton in the St. Louis Regional as well. They will play on Thursday. The Creighton Blue Jays won a share of the Big East regular season alongside Seton Hall and Villanova. Creighton will take off against the UC Irvine Anteaters. UC Irvine back in the tournament for the 2nd straight year. Last year they defeated Kansas State in the first round. This year they get in as the Big West's regular season champion, and they'll have a chance to upset the Creighton Blue Jays in St. Louis on Thursday. Our next game in the West Regional in Sacramento, California, the 7 seed, the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona enters 21-11, a bit of a losing streak to end the season before they won their first game of the Pac-12 Conference Tournament, defeating Washington before the tournament was canceled. On Friday, they will play the 10 seed, Indiana, our 5th team out of the Big Ten. They finished the year 20-12, won an insurance game over Nebraska in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. And got a little bit of a sibling rivalry here as head coaches Sean Miller and Archie Miller will take off against each other in Sacramento on Friday. Here we also see the number 2 seed, the San Diego State Aztecs. What a season it's been for them. Led by Malachi Flynn, San Diego State, a number 2 seed for the first time since 2011. They finished the year 30-2, finished the regular season with only 1 loss. Their second loss came in the conference tournament title game to Utah State. And they are the number 2 seed in the West region. They will play in Sacramento on Friday, Eastern Washington, regular season champions out of the Big Sky. That conference tournament was canceled, but Eastern Washington gets the auto bid as the Big Sky's regular season champion. Now we move on to the South region, where we find the number 1 team in the South is the Baylor Bears. Baylor was in the conversation for the number 1 overall seed for a while until they finished the year on a bit of a losing streak, losing to Kansas at home, losing to West Virginia and TCU before the Big 12 tournament could begin, but they are still on the 1 line, and they will be the number 1 seed in the South Regional. On Friday in Omaha, Nebraska, they will play the 16 seed, the Boston University Terriers. Boston University, their first ever Patriot League tournament championship, defeating the number 1 seed Colgate in the championship game. They enter the tournament 21-13, and they will play Baylor in the first round. LSU makes an appearance in the South region as the 8 seed. The Tigers, led by head coach Will Wade, finish the year 21-10, and they will have their hand against Marquette. Marcus Howard's squad finishes as the 9 seed, 18-12, and those two will play on Friday in Omaha. Now we go to the St. Louis first-round site on Thursday, where we see the Butler Bulldogs. Butler, led by head coach LeBall Jordan and senior sensation Kamar Baldwin. It is another team out of the Big East. 7 in total made it from the Big East. And Butler will play the Yale Bulldogs. It's Bulldogs versus Bulldogs in St. Louis on Thursday. Yale won the Ivy League regular season. Ivy League was the first to cancel their conference tournament, and Yale was the first to earn a regular season auto bid. They finished the year 23-7, and they'll get to play Butler on Thursday. Keeping in St. Louis for the Thursday games, we have the 4 seed, the Kentucky Wildcats, led by head coach John Calaberry. Kentucky, no strangers to the NCAA tournament, and in the first round they will play the Akron Zips, regular season champions out of the Mid-American Conference, and they will play Kentucky on Thursday in St. Louis. Now we move on to the second half of the South region, where we find the 6 seed. The defending champions, the Virginia Cavaliers, finished the year 23-7. Were a bit of a bubble team for a while, and then they finished the year on an incredible winning streak. They will play on Friday in Greensboro. And who will their opponent be? It's the 11 seed, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. A little bit of drama here for you, as we have a rematch of last year's national title game. This time it's taking place in the first round. Virginia and Texas Tech will play on Friday in Greensboro. Also playing on Friday in Greensboro is the 3 seed, the Maryland Terrapins, alongside Michigan State and Wisconsin, won a share of the Big Ten regular season. They enter 24-7. Mark Turgeon's squad, led by the likes of Anthony Cowan and Jalen Smith. They get a 3 seed in the South region, and they will play 14th seeded North Texas, winners of the Conference USA regular season, and they will play Maryland on Friday in Greensboro. And another game in Greensboro on Friday. This time it's the Illinois Fighting Illini, back in the tournament for the first time since 2013. Brad Underwood's squad finished the year 21-10, and in the first round they will play Bobby Hurley and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Arizona State, notorious for being a bubble team. The past 2 years they both had games in Dayton. This year they avoid Dayton and will be a number 10 seed and will play Illinois on Friday in Greensboro. We also see the Duke Blue Devils. Coach Mike Krzyzewski back in the tournament once again with the Blue Devils, led by standouts like Vernon Carey and Trey Jones. The Blue Devils finished 25-6. They were the 4 seed in the ACC tournament. They are a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. And in the first round, they'll play Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky, since making the jump to Division I, has been one of the best teams in the Horizon League. They won the Horizon League Conference Tournament title over UIC, finished the year 23-9, and they'll get to play Duke in the first round. Now we move on to the final region, the East region, where we see the number 1 seed, the Dayton Flyers. It's Dayton's first number 1 seed since the 1960s. They finished the year 29-2, with, of course, the Naismith Award frontrunner Obi Toppin leading the show for the Flyers. They are the number 1 seed in the East region. And on Friday in Cleveland, they will play the Winthrop Eagles. Winthrop, winners of the Big South tournament, they beat Hampton in the championship game and were runner-ups to Radford in the regular season. And so they will play Dayton on Friday. Keeping in Cleveland for the Friday games, the 8 seed, Providence. Perhaps no team had a bigger rise late season than the Providence Friars. Providence climbed out of bad losses to the likes of Charleston and Long Beach State, earning 7 Quad 1 wins and being an 8 seed after an impressive showing in the Big East tournament, and they are in the NCAA tournament, and they will play against the USC Trojans. USC back in the tournament, 22-9 they finish the season. One of the top teams in the Pac-12, they'll get their hand against Providence in the first round. The winner of that will in all likelihood play Dayton in the round of 32. We move on to the Tampa first round site on Thursday. We have the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yet again, another team out of the Big Ten. There were 10 in total from the Big Ten. This is the 8th one we've seen from the Big Ten in the Buckeyes. In the first round, they will play Stephen F. Austin, the Lumberjacks, victors of the regular season for the Southland Conference, notorious for knocking off Duke back in November in Cameron. And they finished the year 28-3 and champions of the Southland regular season. They'll look for a first-round upset. We also find in Tampa the Louisville Cardinals, a 4 seed, finished the year 24-7. They were a top 3 seed in the ACC tournament. They are a number 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. And in the first round, they will play the Vermont Catamounts, regular season champions out of the America East Conference. They advanced all the way to the America East Conference tournament title game to play Hartford before that game was canceled. And so Vermont earns the auto bid from the America East, and they will play Louisville. We move on to the second half of the East region, where we find the West Virginia Mountaineers. 21-10, also finished the season on a bit of a slide, ended the regular season with a victory over Baylor to keep them from falling too far. And Coach Bob Huggins' squad back in the tournament after missing it last year. 21-10 is how they finish. They'll play on Friday in Cleveland against Utah State. Sam Merrill with an impressive run in the Mountain West Conference tournament to lead the Aggies back to the NCAA tournament for the second straight year. It was also their second straight Mountain West Conference tournament championship, and they will play West Virginia in the first round. Staying in Cleveland, Ohio, on Friday, we find the Michigan State Spartans, our ninth team out of the Big Ten. Michigan State led by head coach Tom Izzo and senior standout Cassius Winston. In the first round, they will face the Hofstra Pride. Hofstra ending a lengthy tournament drought. Last appearance was 2001, back when Jay Wright was their coach. Finished the year 26-8, victors of both the CAA regular season and conference tournament. And they will play Michigan State on Friday in Cleveland. On Thursday in Albany, the 7 seed, the Penn State Nittany Lions, another team ending a lengthy tournament drought. Last appearance was back in 2011. They make it this year under the leadership of senior Lamar Stevens and head coach Patrick Chambers. And in the first round, they will face the 10 seed, the East Tennessee State Buccaneers. Steve Forbes' team back in the NCAA tournament. They won the SoCon regular season and the conference tournament, beating Wofford in the final. They finished the year 30-4. And based on their seeding, it seems like if they had lost that game, they probably still would have gotten in as an at-large bid anyway. So, Texas, you can thank East Tennessee State for winning you that game. You are in the tournament because of it. And our final matchup in the first round sees the Villanova Wildcats, the 2 seed in the East region. They will play in Albany. As we all know, Jay Wright's squad gets very pumped for March, always a tough out in the NCAA tournament. And the final team in the field, the last one sweating it out, it's the 15 seed North Dakota State, winners of the Summit League, both the regular season and the conference tournament. They defeated North Dakota in the final, and they will have their hand against Villanova in Albany on Thursday. And that is all 68 teams in the bracket. We take a look at the conference breakdown now. Bids by conference. 10 for the Big Ten. There were rumors of the Big Ten getting 12 at one point. Those went by the wayside as Minnesota and Purdue started to fall out of favor. But 10 is the only double-digit number for any conference. They lead the charge. 7 for the Big East, 6 for the Big 12, 5 for the Pac-12. You look at the ACC and SEC, only 4 bids for each conference. A little bit low for each team. For each conference, both of those you would usually expect to be having more teams. And then, of course, the American and the WCC, each with 3. The only other conferences with numerous teams in the tournament are the Atlantic 10 and the Mountain West, each with 2, every other conference with 1. And finally, we take a look at the bubble. We have our final 4 teams in the field: Wichita State, Richmond, Xavier, and Texas. These teams will be playing in Dayton, Ohio on Tuesday and Wednesday night. The winners will get to advance into the field of 64. Wichita State will play Richmond, Xavier will play Texas. And our first 4 teams out, the NC State Wolfpack, UCLA Bruins, Stanford Cardinal, and Arkansas Razorbacks. Each of these teams just narrowly missed the cut, and they will head to the NIT as the number 1 overall seeds. Thank you so much for listening in to the 2020 Bowertology Selection Show. Make sure you follow @Bowertology on Twitter for live updates of simulated games. Each game in this field will be simulated on its exact date on whatifsports.com, and @Bowertology on Twitter will have those updates live for you. Thank you once again for tuning in to the 2020 Bowertology Selection Show. Until next year.